Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net with your look ahead video. If you do want a forecast for the next day or so, then check out our fast forecast. The details are on the screen here. But welcome to February. Yep, it's Sunday, the 1st of February, which means that it's the last month of winter. I don't know about you, and I know some of you have had some snow, but this is hardly a huge outbreak of winter, is it, that you'd expect to see on such a northerly flow? The reason is, as I was explaining at Aviation Weather School yesterday, the source of the air that's coming down through the UK is actually too mild. Let me just show you what I mean. That's the analysis chart from the UK Met Office for 6 o'clock this morning, Sunday, and if you just follow the isobars back, look, so you're going into the wind here and just follow back where they're actually coming from. You notice that, look, they're basically coming down across the Med and then bringing that warm air across eastern parts of Europe, look, and then down through the British Isles. So if you just looked at the British Isles section of the chart, you'd be thinking, wow, that would be such a cold northerly outbreak. But then you look a little bit further back, you see where the air comes from, and then you realise actually it's quite a warm source of air anyway. So although it's cooling as it comes across northern Europe, really it's just not getting into those low temperatures that you would expect with such a northerly wind. Still, we deal with what we're given, and really that should be my mantra, I think, heading into the beginning of February. This is the forecast that we put out to clients in the middle part of January. Went out to private clients, and you also viewed it on WeatherWeb Premium. And a bit of a tricky one, really, because at the moment all the charts, as we'll see, are showing high pressure building. All the models want to build high pressure in, but my ideas were slightly different to that. Look, we went for the 1st to the 6th of February, being pretty breezy in the north, went for snow on the hills, some low levels as well, and fairly cold. Thought about it being a northerly flow dominating the conditions through this period. Idea was that with a jet stream close by to the south, that we get unsettled and severe gales across southern areas, wet and a risk of wintry conditions at times. Actually, this whole system now is further south than it was forecast to be in the middle part of January. So the whole forecast basically has moved southwards. Things have the potential to be a real bust, actually, the 6th to the 11th of February. But, you know, I show you when we get things right, and equally, I show you when we get things wrong. So we'll have to deal with this as it comes, but it looks like now this probably isn't going to be coming off. We got the idea of the jet going back northwards during this period, 6th to the 11th of February, and the idea of it being wet with a risk of heavy rain, severe gales and average temperatures across northern areas. Fairly unsettled start in the south and average temperatures better later as higher pressure built in. But I think what it looks like is going to happen now is that ridge is trying to get in to dominate across the UK. So although the jet is going to be north and it will be tracking northwards, it's actually further north than we got marked on here. So it probably looks as if it brings drier but pretty frosty weather across the country, and certainly the risk of the gales in the north has kind of pushed its way further north, so quieter conditions for all look as if what's going to happen. I'll show you more, as I say, in just a second. 12th to the 18th, we got these sort of ideas of pressure building, becoming drier in the south, sunny spells, nighttime frosts. So the story is there, and we thought of rain at times affecting sort of northern Scotland on a southwesterly, and then drier weather kind of pushing its way northwards as the high built in. But as we'll see in a mo, it looks as if that process is probably taking place a week earlier. We've got a watch on as well the 18th to the 22nd of February, with the risk of a possible storm event during this time, and perhaps becoming very windy, possibly very wet, severe gales. Although we said always low confidence on this, but certainly still watching that period 18th to the 22nd of February for something to take place. And then our ideas were of a build of pressure towards the end of the month, becoming drier, brighter, sunny spells, sort of frosty conditions, and generally dry across the country overall at the end of the month. That was where we were headed. But if you look at the model forecasts now, they kind of show the high building in and not wanting to go very far. These are the ECMWF charts going forward to 24 hours, look up to 10 days ahead, and notice the ridge out here in the Atlantic, look, that kind of builds, so actually shows it really nicely, the idea of this ridge building in, look, and topping its way eastwards through the country. This is the feature, though, this cold pool down towards Central Europe that we've got to be watching. The reason for that is that with that feature being so close across Europe, it prevents what do I mean so close across Europe? I don't mean that. With that feature being across the southern part of Europe, what it's doing is that ridge is getting in. But look, it kind of prevents the ridge from digging further south, so it just can't get south in there, and eventually it becomes a cut-off feature of its own, sinks back into the Atlantic and sets the anticyclone over the British Isles. So it's going to where we wanted it to go in the middle of the month, but not in the way we thought it probably would. What I really want to see, and this is where, you know, I'm still, look, it doesn't look like it's going my way, but it might, and the models might be wrong here, is that if this sort of cold pool here can warm through and allow the ridge to collapse southwards, at the moment it doesn't look like from these charts, I have to say, then we would get into the position where the ridge is going to build through, as we suspected, coming in off the Atlantic. And what that would do is allow the westerlies kind of to get back in and bring us the spell of windier, wetter weather. But that's the ECMWF. Let me show you the GFS ensemble from 8.5 days going through to 15 days. And look, I mean, essentially, it's showing us, look, the same pattern breaking through, and really it just keeps that ridge there right the way through, even up to 15 days ahead. So it seems to agree with the ECMWF, and in fact stick with that high pressure idea through the next 15 days. So certainly no backup for me there, backup for the ECMWF. And the CFS telling such a similar story as well. This is week 1 for the CFS. Low heights down towards the southeast, high out towards the west. Look, that's our cold northerly flow that we've got at the moment. Get into week 2, which runs from the 7th to the 13th of February. It's building the high. Look, there's our low to the south, low to the north. There's the ridge shape that we've just seen. And then into week 3, 14th of February to the 20th of February, yeah, it's got the high pressure built in, which is what we thought. Interesting, though, to see this kind of spike, this trough here, trying to do something. I wonder if this is perhaps seeing 18th to the 22nd watch period, just possibly to see something trying to break through. But generally, look, high pressure building in, and kind of we agree with this in our monthly forecast. But then towards the end of the month, it tries to get the trough in. Look, it tries to get more of a trough in from the 21st to the 27th, and doesn't see the high, which is what I'd want to see. I'd want to see this and this building in to try and match in with my forecast. So I have absolutely no backup at the moment from the models at all for our February forecast. Of course, that's not to say that I'm wrong. It may be that the models just haven't seen it and they've got into a bit of a cold frenzy. But I must say the weight of evidence at the moment probably goes against me. But hey, I've got a thick skin. You know, I'm a tree. I can bend. Let's just see what happens over the coming days. But I think it's important to get these ideas out to show you the different ideas that are out there. And you can see then how the forecasts put together, and also get a perhaps better understanding of confidence levels in forecasts, and that you can't just put a forecast out saying this is what the month is going to be like and expect it just to be like that, because there are changes that take place in the atmosphere. And I think I mentioned it last week when I was talking about this, saying that it could be a game changer, this one, if high pressure does get in as it's predicted to this week and it sticks there. It could be a bit of a game changer, a bit of a pattern changer around the northern hemisphere, and perhaps pull us into a new weather pattern. But we'll see what happens. We'll keep you updated on that right the way throughout the week. But for now, whatever you're doing, thanks again for watching weatherweb.net. Don't forget to check out Gary's fast forecast for forecasts for the next couple of days. But for now, whatever you're doing, have a fantastic day. Keep the sun shining, and bye for now.